Agricultural Bank of Namibia's Agri-Advisory Services Division offers training to farmers and bank clients in various farming enterprises in all 14 regions of Namibia through face-to-face sessions. The Agri-Learn online platform will share production content on various agriculture farming enterprises to build the knowledge of farmers from all walks of life. Join us as we embark on this virtual journey towards sustainable farming as we zoom into the basics of poultry production.
Good day, farmers. My name is Henk Saisai. I'm the Technical Advisor for Crops and Poultry within Agribank's Agri-Advisory Services Division. We are going to talk about chicken housing and health and how this impacts your chicken operations. Always remember before you start a chicken business that your chicken needs to be comfortable for it to deliver the product that you want from it. So the first thing is, when you construct a chicken house, ensure that the chicken house is at least 2 meters or more in terms of height, and then you must make sure that you always restrict your chicken house to at least 3 meters as a minimum of the width, and then at least it should be 7 meters long. And when you're building the chicken house, there are 2 crucial aspects that are of importance. First one is to have chicken wire mesh that prevents predators to have access in your house, and then you also build it in such a way that the bottom part of the chicken house has a solid wall that prevents entry of snakes and other microorganisms or small organisms that can come into the chicken house and cause you losses. What is important is to ensure that this house has good ventilation to allow air to move in and out of the house. That regulates the temperature inside this structure. And always make sure that the feeder and the drinker are suspended from the rooftop of your chicken house. What is of crucial importance with the feeder and the drinker is to ensure that this specific container, this height of the container should be level with the chicken's back to ensure that feed is not wasted. The chicken only has access to this container by putting its head to get the feed. The same applies with the water container. So what is also important in the housing structure is to make sure that when you are selecting this site, you can use soil as your floor, or you can go for concrete floor. That makes it easier for cleaning. With sand soil floors, you can easily just dig in the manure with a digging fork and level with a rake to clean the house. But then in an operation where you have concrete floor, you can just sweep everything out and then you clean with F10 disinfectant. The house must always restrict you to the number of chickens you can keep inside. There's a given ratio whereby 10 mature chickens must occupy 1 square meter at all times. This is in a system like this one where we don't have cooling and heating mechanisms, we just rely on the movement of air. So 1 square meter must at all times be occupied by 10 mature chickens. In that house, make sure you also provide nest boxes where the hens can lay their eggs and incubate their eggs for a period of 21 days, and also include sticks that you put here. These sticks, they are very good because they help your chickens find comfort when they want to sleep in the house. Another aspect that is of importance is to make sure that inside the structure, you have a ratio in terms of the number of cocks and the number of hens. The standardized ratio is 1 cock for every 10 hens. So when you have more than 1 hen for a smaller flock of chickens, the two cocks will always have a problem with each other. Instead of mating the hens, they start fighting. So the ratio is important, 1 cock for 10 hens. Now that you have mastered this, you need to always know that the feed containers and the water containers, you have to have a production schedule where you say every day 6 o'clock I'm bringing in the feed and fill this container up. Every day 6 o'clock I fill this container with new water. Before the day ends, I clean the container and fill it up with feed again at 4 o'clock and water to provide my chickens with sufficient feed. Now that we have covered the cleanliness of the environment, we need to always know that the chicken house is a crucial house whereby you need to keep out diseases by all means. Some operations have biosecurity measures whereby these are steps they take to prevent diseases from occurring. First and foremost, the easiest one is to restrict access by fencing off the area around this poultry house, and make sure that when you have this house, you build a separate house which is at least 60 meters away from this one, and that is where you keep all your sick chickens. You isolate the sick chickens from the healthy chickens, and then And I repeat, and then what is important is that always have a vaccination calendar where you prevent the occurrence of diseases. To prevent the occurrence of Newcastle disease, you buy a vaccine called ND-Clone 30, you mix it with water, and then you put it in the drinking container. To prevent Gumboro disease, you buy Gumboro D78 vaccine, you mix it in drinking water, then you put it in the container, you allow the chickens access without water for at least 2 days, and then you remove that water. Last but not least, to prevent the occurrence of infectious bronchitis or infectious coryza, you can buy a vaccine called IBMA5. You mix it with 5 liters of drinking water, you give it to your chickens, and then as they are drinking that water containing the vaccine, it prevents the occurrence of diseases. Now, if your chickens are sick, you are no longer vaccinating, you now have to treat. So you have to buy antibiotics that treat the problems that the chickens have. Antibiotics like Doxyclot 50%, the Doxyclip 50%, it helps you to prevent all, not to prevent, but to treat all bacterial infectious diseases that your chickens may suffer from. And then you have Doximax, it's also an antibiotic. You mix it in drinking water, then you give it to your chickens that are sick to treat the diseases. Last but not least, you have Swamicin, which is in Doximax form. You can also buy that one as a treatment for your sick chickens. But there are crucial steps that you can take as a farmer to prevent diseases from hampering your business. The first one is to ensure that every day when you enter the chicken house, you should be able to be in a position to disinfect your hands and your shoes. So the best recommended disinfectant on the market that can be used to even clean the chicken house is F10 SC veterinary disinfectant. So you mix this with water, then you wash your hands upon entering the house and before handling the feed and the water. And always make sure that each time you take out the chickens and you want to clean the house, you use this to clean the floor, and it will kill all viral, all bacterial, and all fungal organisms that might be on the chicken floor. And that will help you to sustain your business because you prevent the diseases and you ensure that every day when you bring the feed, for example, the feed is placed in clean containers. So when you place the feed, you need to know how many chickens you have, and then you place the feed in each container until it's full. And then you allow the chickens access to this container. They must be able to feed, and after they have eaten from this container, you also refill this container. So remember, the right feed is always recommended for the types of chickens that you are keeping. If you want to keep your chickens in a productive state and you want them to be fed, it's always recommended to buy broiler, finish our broiler starter. This feed contains a lot of protein and it can easily be consumed by the chickens. So when you have chickens and you realize that they are feeding, but then the container is now too low, you will observe that there will be wastage in terms of the feed that you have given your chickens. But if I'm to lift this container up to here, where the container is the same height as the back of the chickens, you notice that the chicken only has access to this container by putting its head inside the container and it doesn't waste any feed. So this is one way, as a farmer, you can regulate feed losses in your operations. So a good house provides comfort. A good house provides your chicken with protection against weather elements and predators. And then if you have 50 chickens inside here, you minimize the losses of your chickens because this is a secure house which can be used for a very long period of time. And that is how you sustain and make sure that your asset, which are your chickens, are comfortable and they are productive. And one aspect is that whenever you have eggs in the nest box, try by all means not to handle the eggs without washing your hands. And in most cases, if you keep chickens like this, where you have a male chicken and a female chicken, the eggs that are produced here are likely going to be fertilized eggs. So whenever you find a hen sitting on her eggs, allow her a period of 21 days to do incubation. And then after 21 days, that egg should have fully developed into a chick that can easily turn into a day-old chick at day 22. So it's that simple and everyone can do it. So chicken farming provides you at the end of the day with good quality meat and good quality eggs that are high sources of protein.
That's it for now. Join us next time for more valuable insights. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to avoid missing out on new content. Also, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram pages for more content.